Welcome to episode 4, guys, of Overtime. Thanks for tuning in. Today we have a lot of recapping. We've had 2 games since our last podcast. And with our Legends of guests, Hersey Hoops coach Austin Scott and senior guard Clay Augustyn. With the 2 games, you guys played Prospect and Palatine. Which one do you want us to start with?
What do you think? Bad news, good news?
We'll Prospect first.
Let's Prospect? All right. Going first. Obviously, recapping the Prospect game from last Friday night. We were home, but you guys lost a Prospect 54-51. You guys missed quite a few layups and inside shots. Was that what you were most disappointed in, or was there something else that you were?
Yeah, I thought when it came down to like third, fourth quarter that, the shots we probably should have made weren't going in. But I think obviously that's very disappointing, but I think those shots were there. And I think that's what's encouraging about it. So the first half was fine, but I think if we finish some of those shots that we know we can get, the story might be different.
Yeah, I think anytime you lose a rivalry game, there's going to be some disappointment involved, but as Clay mentioned, there's definitely some encouragement involved as well. I thought we got some good shots in those crucial moments and some tough calls on the defensive end, but we have to adjust to that, and we got to be 3 points better. And then that's when the margin of error is so small. You can look back at those crucial moments, but overall, I was, as I have been all year, really proud of our effort and the way that we competed. We're just a few possessions away, and good thing it's December and we can get that stuff corrected and move forward.
Definitely.
And with you guys now going on a bit of a road trip, if you would think about it, since your next home game is until January 7th, what do you think are some advantages of playing at home versus away? Obviously the crowd, but is there anything else that's prevalent?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say. I don't really play, obviously, and then the outside stuff is different for me than it is for these guys, so I'll let Clay take that one.
I think for me, the biggest part of playing at home is that's where you practice.
Yeah.
That's where you're comfortable. You take thousands of shots in that gym. That's where your shot. And that's where you and your team have kind of built that chemistry together. When you go on the road, it's their house. It's different. I mean, obviously I like the energy of the road too, but the home that's where you built that kind of trust with each other. So that's just different.
What would you say is the toughest place to play in the Mid-Suburban League?
Good question.
The whole MSL or the East?
Well, both and then the East.
The East I would give to Prospect, just because they're kind of they know you, and so they're gonna let you know that. They're gonna try and get in your head.
Yeah.
The other schools you're not as familiar with, so definitely Prospect. And I'm not just saying that because that's our rivals. I honestly believe that.
It was at St. Viator scouting last night. St. Viator is completely lawless.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that game on Saturday for these guys in that environment. It's funny. The student section at St. Viator, they say whatever they want.
Last year,
nobody
it's wild. It's wild, and I think that's a good experience for our guys. I think that's kind of what they want. But like Clay said, they know them, they know their girlfriends, they know their sisters, they know their moms. They know their little brothers. They know what they did in 7th grade that might be embarrassing. And they bring it all out.
They do. Prospect, they brought up Katie with James when he's shooting free throws.
Right. But, it was I didn't even notice that happened. But, I'm sure James is fine.
And talking about
it's probably more so Katie than it is.
Talking about Viator, that was last year when I got in against Viator, I shot some free throws, and their crowd was right there next to me, and I missed them both. I mean, I heard some of my friends, I heard other people, they were just yelling some stuff that I never thought a student section would yell, and that got to me.
Yeah. Like I said, it's anarchy over there,
it is.
But you got to respect it. They get the job done.
All right, so Brent, he did play just a couple minutes against Prospect, but he disappeared after a couple minutes and didn't even suit up against Palatine. Can you say what happened to him against Prospect, and when do you think he's going to come back?
I could say he'll be back on Friday. In terms of what happened, we left the locker room on Friday, and he was like clear. He was like see-through.
He was fine.
And I was like, "You all right, Brent?" And he's like, "No, not really." And Brent is not a complainer in a sense. I think his stomach was hurting, and he was just kind of. I don't think it had anything to do with nerves or anything like that. I think he was just sick. Maybe ate something. And then at halftime, he was just like, "Coach, I got to go." And obviously, when you have to go, you have to go.
Yeah.
So, but Brent's obviously a huge part of our offensive game plan and our defensive game plan, and missing him hurt us a little bit. But I think he'll be back on Friday as well. But also, on Monday, I think it gave other guys a chance.
Especially like Ginder and
Ginder. Luke and Clay and TJ, I think all played well on Monday, picking up for that absence of Brent.
So moving into that, against Palatine, you guys won 57-48. Great win by you guys. So with Scott getting into a little bit of foul trouble, Brent out, and then other guys getting a little bit tired, and whether that was fouls and stuff, the bench, especially Clay, Luke, Ginder, and all them, they came out fantastic, to say the least. I'd say this sounds a little bit cliche, but did you talk to certain guys like Ginder and Wagner and Clay to step up this game, or you just always expect them to come out?
I think that's part of that is definitely is expected, and I think part of that speaks to it's how hard we go in practice. A lot of guys are confident, a lot of guys are ready to go. So when we're out there and we're maybe missing a guy or guys in foul trouble, we're not surprised to be going in. We're ready. We're all prepared for that, and I think it speaks to our depth too.
Yeah, I think at this point it's a mindset for these guys, and something that they've become really good at is preparing and staying ready so they don't have to get ready each time they go in, and that's a testament to them.
Yeah, and then holding number 50 Campbell to 12 points is pretty good, despite him being able to shoot and post up, and he's also 6'7", which is much bigger than any of our guys on the team, with Ginder and Clausen on him most of the time. Were you happy with how they performed, or did you expect more from them?
No, I was very happy with how they performed. Not only is Julian Campbell 6'7", I think he's 265. He's a big dude. And very skilled. He's hard to move off that block. And I think they realized pretty early on after the first time that they weren't going to move him in an upper body wrestling match. Yeah. But I thought they did a good job. I thought they limited him. I thought they frustrated him a little bit just with their quickness and their length. And they made everything difficult for him, which is exactly what we asked them to do. Anytime you're trying to stop a guy who's been successful in the past for another team, we're just trying to make things difficult for them. And not let them get easy points. And I thought that Clausen and Ginder and James was on him for a possession. Nam guarded him a little bit as well. I thought they did a really nice job on him.
Good. So Seifert, also on prospect, he was number 10. You guys held him to 10 points, who also was one of their better guys, correct? He played a little bit dirty, I'd say, when especially taking that jab at Scott. Not getting the call, which you got pretty mad at. So first, I wanted to ask you, how many texts have you gotten yelling at refs? And then two, is there any way to adapt against players that play dirty like that?
First, I want to make it clear to our listeners, I never yell at the refs. I sometimes have conversations with the refs, ask them questions. I think the best refs, or my favorite refs, are the ones that don't take themselves too seriously, and they're able to teach kids what they're doing wrong, are able to talk with coaches about, what they're seeing that's illegal, all right, so you can adjust. The ones that, never talk to you and, storm off become frustrating because you don't know what you're doing wrong, whether it be on a moving screen or on a travel or in a situation like that. I don't think, obviously, Seifert hit Scott on purpose. I thought that was completely unintentional. That said, it probably deserved a call, but I think that even gets Scott going more sometimes. But in terms of technical fouls, regretfully, I have one last year from Pekin.
This one.
They had no span of patience for me in terms of listening. So I got one, and Coach White got one right
What
after.
do you guys got?
At Pekin last year, which wasn't a good look. It's not a good look for me. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for us. I can guarantee you there'll be no more this year.
No more.
That was obviously last year, so I'm going for a tech-free year. That's my goal.
I like
it. Hopefully these guys hold me accountable. Hopefully we don't get any techs as a team. I think we've seen how technicals can sway the game a little bit. There was a technical in the Palatine game that we got points off of, and then there was another one in another game this year, wasn't there? Somebody got a technical?
I'm not sure.
Somebody shoved someone earlier in the year, and we got the good end of it. But they always catch the second guy. That's what I always tell our guys.
So in that Palatine one, would Nam and Ebo shot? So did Nam get fouled and then Ebo shot?
Yes, Nam got fouled on the fast break layup. And then I think the kid said something to the ref, which resulted in a technical, and Ethan is our technical free throw shooter.
Is he?
So.
Okay.
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah. And then, so after your 57-48 win against Palatine, this was the first game since Maine West when you looked like you really had full control for almost the whole game, even leading an opportunity for Randall to yam it in at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So with Clay, Ginder, Wagner, and a lot of other people off the bench, what do you think you did best to pull off the win against Palatine?
I thought Palatine, our shot selection was excellent. And I told the guys that yesterday in film. I thought we shot a better percentage from the field because we took better shots. We were a little bit more patient. Got layups, nice pull-ups, especially in crucial moments. I thought we executed down the stretch very well. And like you said, got the ball to Ben when we needed to in important moments. Ben's a really difficult matchup because you're not going to find guys his size who are as athletic and rangy as him in terms of driving to the hoop or even jumping in the post. So when we needed a few buckets late, we went right to Ben and were successful on a couple of those possessions that were really crucial in deciding the game.
Perfect. That is the end of our questions. We got your favorite Coach Scott unscripted.
Love it. I think our following is really excited to see Boos in the unscripted section here.
Really? Yeah. All right. Well, I got
tumbling.
I got a lot for Clay.
Okay.
So
I just love to listen to this part. I'm an avid listener here.
All right, Clay, most of these first ones are for you, Coach Scott, obviously, if you want to change any of them from last time.
I might ask additional questions.
Yeah, go ahead. So, Clay, who do you think is the liveliest on the team?
The liveliest?
Mm-hmm.
Got to think about that for a second. I think the answer is Dan Clausen.
Wow. First.
I think he's always yelling. He's always yelling. He gets really excited.
There was a moment in the prospect game where Dan got in that scrum in front of the prospect bench.
Yeah.
And I think it was somebody behind our bench told me, like, hey, if Dan Clausen gets the ball on this next possession, he's going to score. Like, because he was like just in the zone.
Shot the three.
Then he shot the three and made it, and then the place went like up for grabs.
Electric.
I loved it. But that's Dan, man. He brings the energy. I love that answer too. I think we've had different answers each time you've asked that, which
definitely.
They're all live. NBA Live, man. I'm into it.
All right. Is there any funny superstitions you do to pump up before the game?
I've got a new superstition. It's not a superstition, but it's about what I wear.
Mm-hmm.
So, my new thing is I got the leg sleeve on the left, and I got the wife beater under my jersey. And those are my two things that, when I have those on, I feel comfortable. I like the double socks.
Do you?
So those, it's for me, it's about what I wear, and I like to have that same feeling every time.
So you feel kind of off when those items are
Yeah.
in?
Wow.
Hey.
Okay. So I was going to ask you about the leg sleeve or the compression band. Do you just like it, or is there what came to that?
So for a long time in this program, it's been that you can't wear any accessories. That's kind of how it was before. So with this newfound freedom, I had to indulge, and
I like it.
And I actually, it used to be the full sleeve, but I cut one side because I was like, that's the new wave. So
Now, is the leg sleeve? I must ask, is it personality or practicality? Like, is it pragmatic in any way? Or is it just-
like most people come to me and say like, oh, you just do it because it looks good. But I'm here to say that it's actually like for me, it's comfortable to wear it too.
Shameless plug for Nike.
Hey,
So
yeah,
it's like people will tell me it's not, but it's both.
Okay, fair enough.
I like that answer. So, Clay, you're a big fan of music. You're telling us how you made a SoundCloud playlist of EDM this morning. So, if you had to pick out a walkout song, what would it be?
Well, actually, I had a little say in our walkout song. So, and I probably wouldn't change it, although like it's pretty well known. So, obviously, our walkout song is "Love Sosa." Showing love to Chief Keef from Chicago. But my all-time favorite song is "I'm On One," DJ Khaled. So
Is that the one with Drake?
yeah. So I would maybe pick that, but I love Sosa. Like I have no problem with that either. Like I love
like that
that
one,
song.
Are you a big Drake guy overall?
Yeah.
Big Drake.
His newer stuff, not as much.
I was a big Jumpman guy
Were
when
you?
it came out.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
I like
a good
Headlines and Jumpman. Those are my two.
Headlines is probably my favorite.
You don't like
That's
the
a
newer
good one.
ones?
I don't really know, man. I mean, I wish I did know so I could talk with these guys. I let them play a Juice WRLD playlist in practice yesterday while we were shooting. I had no idea. I'd never heard those songs before. Nothing's on the radio, so you got to kind of do it on your own.
That was Johnny Ocon selection.
Yeah, that was okay.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move into the
Johnny
Juice
No
WRLD one. R.I.P. Juice WRLD. He did die. If anyone didn't know that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. And Midway Airport in Chicago. You guys, I'm guessing Clay, you like Juice WRLD.
Well,
You have any thoughts on?
You know, I like him.
Not
I
your
wasn't
favorite though.
devastated, but I think it's tragic, R.I.P. But I think we don't know what happened yet, so it's hard to say.
Now, I was talking to some American Lit students. I know you're an American Lit graduate.
Yes, I am.
Max.
In your class.
And I guess he had some insight in his lyrics about him dying when he was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like predicted.
So this is, I think he's taking a page out of Tupac's Machiavelli album.
Yeah.
Like, this is very reminiscent of when Tupac passed
Definitely.
and kind of predicted it. So
I mean, he also said that he wants to become famous and fake his death. So.
okay, Baldair
Yeah.
was filling me in with this. I don't know
Really?
if you guys know Robbie Baldair, but he's a
Yeah.
diehard.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next one. So, what is your pregame snack?
I like the Nature Valley granola bars.
What flavor? Are you oats and honey guy?
I'm an oats and honey guy.
That's a
Best
great
one. Best
I mean,
one.
that's just
flavor.
kind of what's stocked. So I like the granola bars before. I mean,
Shout out
that's-
Mrs. Augie.
Yeah, shout out. It's nothing special, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. All right, Clay, you obviously pretty well at shooting. I asked this one last time. If you guys were to hit a dagger game-winning shot, what's your celebration?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would probably take it in for a second and then point to the sky, point to the guy who passed it to me,
Okay.
and that's probably it.
Yeah, I like it. All right, now we're moving into some new ones.
Ooh.
So here we go. The first one.
Anticipation.
If people dance, who is the best dancer, like during practice or something?
I got an answer. I don't know about you.
Go first.
I think it's hands down Wagner.
Wagner. Wow. That's
Wagner.
not
I
expected.
think I think everyone would say that.
Wagner.
I
Really?
think Wagner's talented at dancing.
I had no idea. See, this is what I learned something new from the unscripted portion every week. I think if you ask Coach White and his name wasn't in the conversation, I think he'd be upset.
Woody.
Yeah, loves to dance. Although I think, Coach Rugg could be a
Really?
dancer.
Rug.
That's my math teacher. Right
Yeah,
there. So,
Coach
I
Rugg,
haven't
Coach
seen that
Ocon.
before.
Ocon's got the dancing shoes on. He's got those suede shoes with no socks. Zagorski, I've heard from MK that he's a good dancer.
Really?
So I think those names have to go into the conversation as well. Shout out Drew Zagorski.
I mean, if we're talking slow dancing, I might be up there, but I don't know about.
Oh man.
I mean, I think I'd be up there too. Ain't Connor? You
Yeah,
up there?
I'd definitely be up there.
All right. I like this one. Who's the biggest trash talker on the team?
You got anyone?
Go ahead.
Dan, maybe.
I'd say Dan too.
I just think he's easy to kind of.
Piss
He's easy
off.
to rattle.
He's easy to piss off.
He's easy to rattle. He's not easy to rattle. He's easy to kind of get into it with. He'll throw some shots back pretty quick. So.
Ethan, I think, is in the conversation.
Yeah.
Marty sometimes
Really?
gets a little heated. Clay, I think, goes in that
get a little
conversation
chippy.
as well.
What about Geditis? Because I saw
Geditis is
a
fantastic.
clip of Dan and Geditis.
Yeah, Geditis will just like hit you like how you're poor at grammar or something. He'll hit you where it really hurts. But no, Ryan does a great job with that too. So keeping those guys, engaged and keeping all the drills competitive and stuff.
So this is an overall question. I was just wondering, like, how is like the vibe after practice when you guys win a game and all that?
It's different. The vibe is different when you win than when you lose. We talked about that yesterday. But obviously when we win everything, I think winning veils some weaknesses or mistakes, and then losing exposes them. All right. So it is definitely a different feeling, but it's a great feeling in the locker room. I think that's what everybody's in search of. But winning's hard. Winning's really hard. But yeah, definitely a different feeling. What would you say?
I'd say it's obviously a lot more positive in the locker room, but it's also a mixture of we got to kind of control ourselves because we're not done yet. So you got to kind of balance those two things. So it's obviously a lot more upbeat, a lot more positive, but it's also us trying to stay the course.
Yep. Stay focused. All right, that is the end of Unscripted. You guys want to shout anything out, anyone, or do any more questions? Got any more questions?
No shout-outs?
Good.
No shout-outs?
I'd like to shout out the Orange Crush for Friday. I thought they did a nice job. Haas and Pick and those guys kind of lead that group, but saw a lot of people out there. I know we're not home for a while, but thank them for their support and all the teachers that were in attendance as well. That was great to see. I know Mrs. French and Mrs. Ort working the table with Mrs. Comer. Mrs. Mabry was, holding the rope on the entrance gate. A lot of different teachers involved in a lot of different ways. So thank you for them and all their service to our program.
Definitely. All right, guys. That is the end of Overtime. Episode 4. You guys do have a game Friday, correct? Against
Friday at Elk Grove.
At 7:30, right? Perfect. So everyone, show out, cheer for them. Let's make a big OC gang. And thank you to the men, the myth, the legends, Hersey Hoops, Clay Augustyn. Thanks for coming in, guys, and good luck at your next game.
All right, thank you very much, guys.